Alright, here we are, last page. Sarah solved 1/5 divided by 10 by using a related multiplication sentence. What did her multiplication sentence look like? Figure that out and I'll be back here when you get back. Alright, if she was doing 1/5 divided by 10, we know that she would need to put 10, because it's a whole number, over top of the number 1. All whole numbers have the number 1 underneath them. Whether it's written there or not, it does. They're there. Alright, so in order to do a division problem, you need to change that 10 over 1 into 1/10. It's reciprocal. So we're going to do 10 over 1. And whenever you do a reciprocal, that automatically causes the operation to reverse or go into the opposite form. So division turns into multiplication. And we do 1/5, which stays the same, times 1/10. And with that, you would get 1/50. Okay. Number 12. Emily bought 6 yards of fleece to make a blanket. She cut the fleece into, I think that says 3/4 yard pieces. Which equation represents the number of pieces of fleece N Emily has now? So that N represents the answer, basically. It's a number. How would you go about solving this? Figure it out, and I'll be here when you come back. Excuse me. So number 12 works like this. You would have to take the 6 yards of fleece, and you're going to cut them into 3/4 of a yard pieces. So that means you're going to divide them into pieces that are 3/4 of a yard long. So when you look at this, there's two answers that make sense. It is not this one, and it is not this. You just can't use only whole numbers in this problem, because there is a number in it that matters, that is a fraction. So those two are automatically eliminated. So it's one of these two. You have to take whatever the whole amount is, in this case 6 yards, and put it first, and then divide it into the size pieces you want. So that's why number 1 is your best choice in this problem. Moving down. Number 13, Austin bought 4 pounds of grapes. Mary bought 16 ounces of grapes. Whose grapes weighed more? Explain how you know. Alright, this is the kind of problem where you will have, like when you do a test, like a PSSA or something like that, there will be like an equivalency. It'll probably say something like 1 pound, LB is the abbreviation for pound, hope you remember that, equals 16 ounces. I can't write that. Anyway, there's ounces. Believe it or not. So Austin has 4 pounds. So I could do this. I could figure that each pound, 1 pound, represented by this box, is actually 16 ounces. I'll write it underneath it. Okay. Now he's got 4 of those. So basically, I could draw 4 boxes and write a 16 under each one and add them all. Or I could do the shortcut and do 16 times 4 to turn this into ounces. And once this is turned into ounces, then I can finally compare it with Mary's ounces. You want to put them into the same units. You had 2 ways to do this. You could divide her 60 by 16, and that would tell you how many pounds she had. Or you could take his 4 pounds and multiply it by 16. I prefer multiplication most of the time if I had a choice. So I'm just going to multiply. 4 times this 10 would be 40. I'm going to use partial products. So 4 times 10 was 40. And then 4 times the 6 would be 24. and I have to put these two numbers together then. And with that, you would get 64 ounces. So in this case, it looks like Austin has more. And you could explain that in your own words, however you see fit. If you're going to use numbers, make sure you label them so everybody knows what they represent. All right, I believe there's not much left. Let's take a peek. Yeah, nice. Number 14, last one. Which situation can be represented by 7 divided by a third? So Rita has a piece of sausage that is a third of a foot long. She cuts it into 7 pieces, each having the same length. How many feet long is each piece of sausage? That one just doesn't make much sense to me because this is showing us 7 being divided into thirds. So it wouldn't make sense for her to have a sausage that's a third of a foot long already. So to number 1, I say no. Number 2, Rita has 7 pieces of sausage. Each piece is a third of a foot long. How many feet of sausage does Rita have in all? Well, that's interesting. We'll give that one some thought. That's a possible one, so I'm going to put a star by it. And we'll test it out later. Rita has a sausage that is 7 feet long. Wow. She cuts it into pieces that are a third of a foot long. How many pieces does Rita have? I'm also considering that possible. Now, I know it sounds silly to say that there's like a 7 foot long sausage. I mean, that's like a foot taller than I am. So that'd be, I don't know, maybe they're going for a world record or something. And it's time to cut up the meat. And then the last one, Rita has a piece of sausage that is 7 feet long. She cuts it into 3 pieces. How many feet long is each piece of ribbon? Huh? Don't fall for this. Just because they said the wrong word doesn't mean it's the wrong answer, but in this case it is wrong. All right, so now we're down to 2 answers. 7 pieces of sausage, each being a third of a foot long. How many feet? Well, if we do the problem, we'll do 7 over 1 divided by 1/3. And remember your rules. Okay, flip this for the reciprocal. So you get 3 over 1. And when you do a reciprocal, that automatically causes the operation to reverse. You should know that by now. And the whole number 7 stays 7 over 1. And now you multiply across. 7 times 3 would be 21. And 1 times 1 is 1. Oh, not again. Come on. Last problem. All right, you get 21 over 1, which, as you recall, turns out to be the whole number 21. 21 what, though? Is it going to be... How many pieces does Rita have? Does she have 21 pieces? Or how many feet of sausage does she have in all? I'm thinking, if you imagine this as a picture, okay, there's a really weirdly shaped piece of sausage. Let's say it's 7 feet long. And you have to cut it into third of a foot pieces. I'm going to cut this into, I would like to cut this into, oh wait, I have a better idea. I got a tool for this. No, not that. This thing. Go away. Alright, here we go. So, if this is the whole sausage, 7 feet long, I'm going to just divide it into 7 pieces. Pretend that these pieces are, pretend that these pieces are equal, please. Okay, so 7 pieces will be 6 cuts. And that makes 7 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, they're not really pieces, they're sections. And each one represents a foot. If you are going to cut it into pieces that are a third of a foot long, how many pieces would you have? Each foot would have 3 pieces, because every time you do this, you're going to get 3 pieces out of it. And you actually did some homework like this before. So there'd be 3 there in this section, 3 in that section, 3 in that one. I'll write it. there'll be 3 pieces here. And of course, there will be 3 over here in that section. And there'll be 3 over there in that section, and so on and so forth. So we would wind up with 21 pieces. Now, which one of those options is the best one then? I just will continue filling that in anyway. Don't be lazy. 3 pieces for that 1 foot section, and 3 pieces for that 1 foot section. So we have 7 threes basically, and that's 21 pieces. So Rita has 7 pieces of sausage? No. She's got the world record sausage, 7 feet long, and she cuts it into 1/3 of a foot long pieces, and she will wind up with 21 pieces. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your review packet. Take it home, study it. If you get home and you're like, I don't remember the answers, or I don't understand this one, you can always go back to this video. It's on YouTube. It's available. Just search for Jason Karczewski on YouTube, and my videos will pop up. And, you know, that'll increase my views, too. Yay. So anyway, I hope you have a good day, and good luck on the test, which is coming up soon. Ask your substitute. No, he or she will tell you.